All right, guys, welcome back to Audio Portraits. Today we're at Recon Health and Fitness. It's a fitness company at Calgary that specializes in strength equipment, and obviously the other big part of the business is innovation and education. The business is split basically in two different sections where Cody takes care of equipment. Jay does a lot of innovation and has amazing news to actually bring to the world. And I have to leave a disclaimer, I am the CMO of this company, so my interests might be a little biased, but Javon, I mean, you can...
Is this an advertisement or is this a
Well,
podcast?
no, I have to say it because obviously...
Javon will keep it real.
Obviously, it's going to be really confusing when people are going to watch this or hear it or listen to
I'm
it.
just playing, full disclaimer. I agree with everything you said, and let's get right into it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's exciting.
One thing I wanted to know, just off the top of my head, is like, what kind of inspired you to come up with this innovative type of gym?
That's a combination. That's a combination from when I met Cody.
I kind of want to hear from the beginning, so you can start fresh.
Yeah, let's go. So it's been years. It's been 5 years in the making for a few of the products that will get released here pretty soon to the industry. We've gone through the whole patent process. I identified a problem in the industry 5 years ago, is basically what happened.
What was the problem?
So we're a resistance band-based company. We like to teach and promote time under tension, progressive tension training, okay, so band training. I probably spent a year in the gym on the floor with a band, just understanding how and what it worked for the body. The problem is, where do you anchor it, right? Like, where do you put the other end of the band? We can go to social media and we can see all of this content of guys doing band stuff, which is amazing because I'm an advocate for it. You'll notice in most of the posts, they don't show the other end of the band because it's either around something janky like a leg of a table or something where it's going to come and snap back at you. That is the problem. So obviously, I owned a construction company here for 20 years. So innovation just rolls through my mind. The gears are turning. And we decided, I kind of came up with a quick connection, a plug and play system. Make it easy for everybody. It's thoughtless, just plug and play and go. So I worked that for about 3-4 years in the background, running through the patents, running through the engineering, running through the design phases, etc. So I had, innovation, product, and I didn't even know who Cody was at the time. It's been, what, a year now? How long?
Yeah, just over a year.
Just over a year that we've been partners here at Recon Health and Fitness. But a mutual friend had come into his store, Huge Life, looking for equipment, and was so impressed with the way Cody understood the industry, understood equipment, understood the market, and knew how to sell. And Cody's business model, I'll let him speak on that too, but Cody's business model was something that I had never experienced or heard of in the industry. I think a lot of people are taking advantage of it in the industry, and Cody's goal, when COVID hit, was transparency to the industry, because everybody is now needing equipment. Just be transparent and don't take advantage. And that really resonated with me. So a mutual friend came in to get some equipment. I think he left here and called me immediately and said, "Yo, you got to go to this Huge Life place and meet this guy, Cody." Okay, why? He says, "Well, this guy's just got an outlook on the industry that's crazy, and I think the two of you together with an innovation and then Cody's infrastructure of import, export, and his knowledge of equipment would mesh really well." Sure, let's go. At the time, I had our power bar and our collars designed, engineered, and I was looking for a retail facility or a retail brand to take my products to the market. That's what brought me into the store. I came into the store, Cody and I met, and stars in the sun shined and stars came out, and what I was saying was resonating with him, and what he was saying to me was resonating. And immediately we seen how his side could work with my side to get to a mutual goal, to where we're going after, And we were in line, and that just fluidly picked up pace, and that's how we met. And from there, it's been, I mean, we'll get into it, but from there, it's organically flourished because of the way he sees the industry. You know, and a huge part was me recognizing his business, how he operates his business, recognizing innovation and how important innovation is to the industry. And if you want to make that difference and you want to be that difference in the industry, you cannot just be like everybody else. It's like everything in life. You have to be something different. You have to bring something different. You have to have that edge. So I think I brought that edge, I brought that innovation into an infrastructure that was just soundproof. And together, that combination is what's bringing Recon Health and Fitness to that next level. You know, that white gloved experience with our equipment and with our innovation.
That's awesome. Cody, is he full of shit or?
Yeah, I know. I was like,
Today or in general or just now?
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, did I miss the script? Before was there a read that was supposed to happen last night?
Was there stars really happening? Or just some weird guy walked in? Yeah.
So I gotta
It's
get
like,
your
that's
take
not
on
how
it.
I seen it at all.
You gotta get
No,
your
that
take on the
was
story,
good. That was good, man. Yeah, it was. I saw an opportunity. I saw a product when Jay walked through the door that had disruptive factors attached to it. Obviously, him and I hit it off pretty well. Actually, we did our thing. We both hold our cards pretty close to our chests in terms of who we're willing to deal with and work with. We've kind of been put through the ringer as any small business when you're growing. And he left here with that product, and I was like, holy shit, that's really crazy. Again, both pretty guarded in terms of who we're going to deal with. And he left, and I said, I may never see that guy again, and I'm okay with that. And I hope that it is exactly what it is, because it's a wonderful product, and he's going to change the industry with it. And then 2 days later, we ended up calling each other and said, I think we need to explore this further. Outside of bring it to me and I'll sell it. That's a fact. Yeah. I saw more, I saw better opportunity. I saw a way to scale it differently than maybe he was presented in the past. So it just organically happened that it was gonna work far better together than as a commission salesman or whatever you want to call it. I wanted my piece of the pie too, because I think it's a really, really, really good product, and even over the year that we've been together, we've developed it and expanded it to something far larger than even either one of us really thought it was going to be. So, and with that, we got to innovate our equipment line as well. So it went hand in hand. It truly like organically grew together into something far larger. Yeah.
So from my side, like exactly what he said, number one, disruptive product. Number two, creating a product, doing the engineering on it, doing the design, taking it through patent processes, marketing, packaging, who's manufacturing, who's distributing, testing the product, making sure we're all CSA approved, making sure we're healthcare approved. You can kind of learn those things as you go. What you can't learn, and what I've learned that you can't just pick up, is the understanding that Cody has, which is he can take a product and he understands how to scale that. He understands how to take it to the market in the right way. And that was never even a thought in my mind when we first met, because I just didn't, I'm into engineering, I'm into the patents, I'm into the legal side of things, I'm into the business model. And I think it was, for me, when I walked in here, it was, somebody I can trust, somebody I can relate with, somebody that can help me take this product that everybody loves and get it out to the market in the right way. But let's not fool ourselves. That can be a very dangerous process with a new product that you have patents on if it's not done properly. And we had to go through these processes to learn that. And the more I speak with other people who have innovative products, invented things and taken them to the market, some squash right away because they were taken to the market in the wrong way or not understood in the market the right way. We're here saying the word product But the reality of what we've built, which will be exposed to the industry here real quick, is a system. It is a universal system of band training with connections and products that will be dripped. But it's not just a one product. So we had a larger picture of what we had to do than just bring, you know, a fidget spinner into the industry. And what we're doing really is trying to change an industry. So we don't want to make any mistakes. You know what I mean? We have that unicorn, and Cody knows how to take that and put it in the market in the right place. His outlook on the industry is just, it's mind-blowing. And I think, you know, I said to my wife right after I met him, I said, Cody is that vehicle. You know, I have this container, and Cody is the vehicle to take that container to the market. He had the infrastructure. He knows the import-export. You know, he watches our freight liners coming in from China like daily on the computer. Those are things that just never registered for me. I didn't understand that side. And that organic fit was just, he brought comfort to me in a space where I was still unsure of how I was going to take this to the market in the right way without being knocked off. You know what I mean?
100%. Kind of just to touch on that, like, are you a straight advocate for this, and do you actually use the product as well?
I do. I will say that I had always trained bands in some way, shape, or form throughout my training regiment. Played lacrosse. We were always in the gym working out. I was always figuring out ways to rig up bands. Trained a lot of different methods that required it, and then saw this, and I was like, this is a game changer in terms of, like he said, there's examples where you see the guys tying off onto dumbbells to try to get their bands so they can bench under banded tension. Nothing is easy about it. You're setting it up, and I hadn't really, my training had kind of slowed down a little bit as I grew the business, believe it or not. I actually got into the industry because I love to train, and
now you're fat?
And now I'm fat.
It could be like that sometimes.
It's okay, we're all on our way there. Business will do that.
Yeah.
We all have different paths.
I
today.
end up on a computer for 15 hours a day, and it changes, and then you're immersed in it all the time, so it just started to lack. And then I got kickstarted again when I met Jay, because I started to train bands. I started to be in here a lot more often, and knew that the industry needed something that was easy, something that it was a plug-and-play system, and system being the main word. To be able to train however you're training, you can train under banded tension, and that was big for me. That's what, when I said disruptive, that was it. You're going to change the way that people train under tension, 100%. And it's readily available is the thing. Wherever you are in a facility that we have fitted out, you're able to do it no matter what you're doing. You're going to be able to train whatever movement you're doing, you're training it under banded tension, which is unheard of. It's just not a thing.
And I think that's one of the biggest things is, like, you see a lot of people, they can kind of see what needs to be done in the market, and then they can find ways to be able to compensate for that. So the reason why I asked you that was, you can obviously see that little gap in the market, but also you're an advocate for it, you use it, so you know why and the reasons of why people need this and why it would be good for them. So I think that's like a huge thing for what you're doing.
And it is, and you're right. You're spinning your wheels if you're not behind, or specifically with this product, if you don't have an intimate knowledge of what it's doing, then you probably shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't be selling it. And you definitely shouldn't be an advocate for it, because you just simply don't understand it, right? I'm like that across. We have this. This is a really badass facility. It's a showroom because we're an equipment company. But we get to do all of our testing. Everything gets to be done right here with everything that we do. So you get to stand behind the product that you're selling, and that's big, and it's rare in the industry. With any part of it, the passion isn't behind. It's just a bunch of glorified middlemen selling someone else's product.
That's my point.
There you go.
This is our brand. This is our we stand behind every single piece that we put out, and no one can touch it because it's not available. We sell it, we own it,
Yeah, it's our
we
product.
have it. It's our product.
Yeah.
And Jay would have ran into, and that was a thing. More so than anything out of it all, because I am a compassionate person. Specifically, when I see how much time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears have gone into something, where I'm like, don't let this product become bastardized,
Yep.
and give it to the highest bidder, and then you'll never ever see it again, and it's not yours.
What does that mean by it being bastardized?
Yeah, and that's this. I didn't understand it either. These are the enlightenments that came to when I met Cody. That I probably would have run into a barrier. You know what I mean? A roadblock of like, oh man, you're right. That's exactly what happened. Somebody tried to take this and sell it, or in some other way than what it should be. Yeah, elaborate on that.
Yeah, so fill in the blank, larger, I'm gonna call it fitness distribution companies, and I'm not gonna put any particular name on it. It's just a melting pot of different products at any of the dealerships is what they're called in the industry. None of the product is actually theirs. They either have licensing agreements set up or some sort of wholesale deal made with any of the bigger names in the industry. They take the products, give it to them for a wholesale price, and then they distribute, basically.
They label and distribute.
Label and distribute. Well, no, not even. They don't even get to label it. They still have to hold the big
Brand.
The big corp brand still holds on to the name, and then they just get a whole bunch of minions to distribute the product, basically. Right from manufacturing, there's no vertical integration in the industry. It's just product goes to 1,000 different dealers. There's no QC in how that product's sold, nothing. They just, whoever will sell it, you can sell it. That product with the RQC system and everything that Jay has brought to the business, the highest bidder would say, I'll take 1 million units, but this is the terms. We own the product. You're gonna get everything back and a little bit more that you've invested into it, but it's ours now.
Yeah.
And then it ends up in a bargain bin in some fill-in-the-blank fitness store, and no one ever sees it again.
Yep.
And if you don't maintain control right from manufacturing right to the end user with a product like that, you just end up not getting to see it, and then the world doesn't get to have a great product, right?
Kind of like
Like,
them
think
taking
about that.
advantage of you guys.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that at all, because I had gone into other retailers and they're like, yo, yeah, let's sell that. Let's sell that thing then. And before him, that's the path I was going down with no knowledge of what he just explained. You know, the what'd you call it? The bottom bin. They end up in this.
It ends up in the bargain bin. And,
Yeah.
And I mean, with this, and that's a big part of why I wanted to be involved on a grander scale, is that Jay is the most valuable asset to his own product.
Thank you.
There's an incredible amount of value, and it shouldn't be, specifically when you're going to market with something, it should be no one but the creator, the inventor. That's the man to take it to market. He deserves it, and retailers will never ever say that. That's not going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Give us control, we'll take it, we'll do whatever we want with it. And then all of a sudden, that's not Recon's RQC system. That's not the system that we've built.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing.
Kind of their way of
Yeah.
trying to take advantage
It is.
of the little
control.
guys.
It is. Oh, you're $2 million deep into this. We're going to pay you we're going to pay you 2.2 million.
Yeah.
All of your debt goes away. You've invested all of this time. We own the patents now. We take it all, and you're left there
With a small royalty or something.
with a small royalty. And that this product can't. That was not a thing.
It won't reach its
Even if I didn't get to
potential.
be a part of it,
Look at
I
the
would have at
passion.
least said to him, do not let someone take the control of this. I know where you're at. I've self-invested into my own business too, and there's been lots of opportunities. If I wanted to break even and get out and try something else, sure.
Yeah.
But I have more passion behind what we do. I'll live and die for it in the long run. So I just wanted that to be instilled in him because it was right there. It's right there.
Yeah.
And don't give up on
Yeah.
something so good.
Yeah.
I like
That's that, right?
I like that he said that, and he mentioned that the goal is not to break even. just speaking on that, like, what is your goal?
Okay, so, yeah, man, great verbiage there. Like, really, you nailed it. Because I'll dive into, you're right, I was right there. And retails were right there to carry product and to sell it. And I would have jumped on board until I met him because, you know, from my little mind and my space, you know, as a little inventor guy, yeah, this guy wants to start selling my product, let's go. But I didn't have the intel or the bandwidth to understand what he's just explained to everybody about. They're just gonna take that, right? And it could be shelved or it could go somewhere, but you're not gonna be in full control anymore and it's just not gonna make it to where you want it to go.
It could be attached to a giant name in the industry,
Yeah.
but it's definitely not JSRQC at that point.
Right.
It's fill in the blanks addition to products that they already have,
Yeah.
and it never gets to be what it's actually supposed to be, which is a system, education,
Yeah.
rehabilitation, all of the things that we're doing.
Yeah.
It would have been just a cool little side
Yeah.
project for one of the bigger names. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right. But him stepping in and being like, no, we control this product from A to Z. We don't let anybody in there. And him having the knowledge and the infrastructure, again, I'll go back to that because that's what he had coming into this, was huge. I would have had to spend probably another year or two setting up the infrastructure that he had in place with the dominant control that he has. It would have taken me another 2 years. You want to go to what is the goal? Let's clarify the two businesses before we started. Cody was equipment sales, right? Strength equipment sales. I have a real great appreciation for Cody's business mind, right? COVID hit, let's not ignore COVID and the damage it did on the fitness industry and the damage it did to individual people who were going to the gyms, right? It damaged it. And Cody picked up on the fact that, gyms are gonna be closing, they're gonna be shutting down, they're gonna be pausing. People still need that feeling mentally and physically. There's gonna be no equipment available. And what does this guy do? Smart thing. He goes and inventories up his store. He comes out with transparency to the public, meaning your price does not have to be up here. Let's tell you guys, your price can be here for the exact same equipment, quality equipment. Let's be transparent. Let's give them quality equipment. Let's have equipment inventoried in his store so that when you come in, you wanted something, you're leaving with it. You're not 12 weeks out. And that's really what expedited his success. So when we met, that's where he was dominating. And I was dominating with innovation in our system. And we needed to meet. What I did was created a quick connect for bands. Okay, it's called the RQC, Recon Quick Connect. Okay, it's basically a plug and play system for band training. Okay, resistance bands. Again, we found a problem. Where do you attach the bands? You can go to any gyms, you can go to social medias and you see everybody tying it to their racks or tying it to a piece of equipment or tying it to a dumbbell. I mean, I was at the gym the other day and there was a guy with, two 100-pound dumbbells on the ground tying his band from his barbells down or barbell down to the band or to the dumbbells and trying to bench that way. And these dumbbells are picking up and going all over the place. That's the problem. So where's the solution? And my mind works that way, right? Contingencies, find the problem, find the solution. What are the contingencies? What are the possibilities of failure? And then address that right now and move forward. So I mean, we could go on social media right now and see how many people have been snapped in the face with a band, right? Or doing assisted pull-ups and getting snapped up the crotch with a band. Yep. It flying halfway across the room. So it's a problem. So the first product for me that I brought out was a safety connection for your band, but a connection that could be adapted and integrated into anywhere in a club, not just a commercial facility, but in your home, right? Not just in your home, but in your hotel when you're traveling, right? Not just in your hotel, but at your physiotherapist when you're getting rehab. That's why we hone in on the word system. It is not just a product. This is a system that we are trying to close the gap on, right? So let's identify how important resistance training is. You go to your physiotherapist and what happens? He rehabilitates you for an hour and then what does he do? He sends you home with a rubber band.
Yeah.
Okay, so our doctors are telling us, yo, you need to go home and use this resistance band to rehabilitate that muscle.
Yep.
Okay, so you go home and you're rehabilitating that muscle. He's telling you a resistance band is going to rehabilitate that muscle, right? Rebuild that muscle. Why have we not, over so many years, taken that concept from the doctor who says, yo, use this band, and continued using it to integrate it into our training to develop and redevelop that muscle? Our doctors are telling us, scientifically, this is how muscle is rehabilitated and rebuilt. Why have we not integrated that more into our training, right?
Yeah.
We're stuck on plates, loading 45s, loading 25s. So I wanted to listen to the doctor, and I wanted to start integrating it more. Came the Quick Connect. I think probably on our next series or the next one after, we'll start to introduce some of those products. I can talk about them now without kind of showing, but probably on our next one we'll show some of them. And then my brain is, I'm very business driven. I'm very, I operate fairly quickly. So as soon as I acknowledge the Quick Connect system, now what can you do with that, right? How can you create that into giving somebody a full body experience under tension? And then we created our own bars and our handles. And they're all engineered specific to bands for a quick attach to bands. So you could literally in our clubs plug your band and a bar into anywhere, use our different levels of tension, and get a full body, right? Mm-hmm. That's facility, that's clubs. Now you have to think, again, system, right? How are they gonna do it at home? This is a product we're releasing in the next 3 weeks. We've engineered a home tower with an adjustable anchoring system for your bands.
It's amazing.
Now you can plug that band in, move that to whatever height or location you want to, and do the exercise you're needing to. When you think about that and you get into the, you know, urban part of Calgary, for example, we're building up, right? Nobody's sprawling out anymore. We're all building up. Are you allowed to have a weight or a rack, a squat rack on the 4th floor of your condo? No.
Definitely not.
You're not. You can't drop a plate. Mm-hmm. Let's address that. Can you drop a band? 100%. You can drop a band. So let's get a banded system to that, you know, new mom on the 4th floor of her condo who wants to get that workout in, but baby's sleeping in the corner, right? And she cannot put a weight system in the house. Let's get her this band system. Let's take that even further, right? You're traveling now as an athlete. You're going in, you got to stay in a hotel. What are the gyms like in a hotel?
Small.
They're terrible.
Congested.
They're terrible, and then they're under maintenance.
No equipment.
And they're under maintenance. You know, so we have a whole business model going towards hospitality, and we'll kind of leak that in the next couple months of what we plan to do with that. Take it one further, your physiotherapist. So that product, that tower, we've engineered it to be a medical product. It is certified, it is engineered for the medical space. So now we have your practitioner who's using the exact same system because it just makes sense, right? The doctor who told us use bands. We're saying, yo, here's a product that makes using bands easy. Let's go. The goal, the end goal. The end goal is to open up the mind to the industry that we've been moving plates around for 150 years. And we are paying practitioners and we are paying chiropractors as much as we need them. We continue to pay them for the injuries that we are incurring on ourselves.
Yeah.
We're doing it ourselves, right? There's got to be a moment where we can stop, assess the situation, and think about it, right? And that's why I keep going back to the practitioner who says, yo, take this band home. Let's stop and think about that. Mm-hmm. So when I train, it's mostly with bands. It's 99% with bands. So the goal is to bring that understanding to the industry that you don't have to. It's unnecessary to make 3 reps with 3 plates aside. Let's get smarter. And then of course I'm a business guy. So another product and another product and another product. Let's go, right? Let's keep it going. Open the mind to the industry, bring them innovation, teach them, bring them education around what we're doing, and then let them go free will with it, right? As a business, our end goal, I mean, the sky's the limit for Cody and I right now. Like you integrate, you mesh What I just explained on the banded system with what Cody's done with equipment and the type of equipment that we've now brought in from a strength conditioning perspective, there's just nobody doing it. And you're looking at one of the best guys to do it. So I think those two together, the sky's the limit. And we will make a massive impact on the industry. And you know, one of my favorite words coming out of Cody's mouth is to disrupt the industry.
Yeah.
And we are shaking shit up. And people are starting to acknowledge it.
I feel like I see that just from the one experience I had with you.
In Montreal.
Yeah.
You got a taste of it, didn't you?
I got a little taste of it, and I told all my friends about it, and they either believe me about it or they don't believe, and they're like, just wow, like I need to try it for myself to experience that and see actually how it is.
There it is. And so many people ask that.
One thing I want to do before we kind of jump off topic, so you're saying that physiotherapists like to use these things, or any type of doctor like to use these resistance bands to rebuild and rehabilitate. For people that might not know, what is the benefits, or why would I choose resistance training if I'm not rehabilitating myself?
Right. So rehabilitation and building are man, they go in queue. That's 1, 2.
Yes.
You rehabilitate and you build, right?
Yeah.
That's why I keep going back to the fact of your practitioner giving you a band.
Well, and like break the muscle down, rebuild it.
Break the muscle down,
That's
rebuild
it.
you're
That's
doing
a
that
good
with
thing.
static weight regardless.
Yeah.
You're doing it with static weight.
You're breaking it down, but what I'm saying is like rehabilitation. That is what part of muscle growth is.
Exactly.
You break it down, you build it back up. You break
Yeah.
it down, you build it back up.
Right. So why not take that concept into our training, right? Because there's never been a platform or enough information or a solid system. Again, we keep going back to the word system because it's easy for the public. There's never been a system that is easy for people to be able to get on board with that type of training, because there's too much thought that has to go into, yo, how do I bench press with a band? Where do I put it? We eliminated that thought. We know that muscle is developed by contraction and retraction, growth, right? Contraction, retraction, and growth. When we're pushing static weight, like Cody's saying, you do get that muscle tear for sure. I'm gonna say it is probably one of the most unhealthiest ways, though. Let's just take a bench press, for example, and you're in your down spot down here with static weight, 2 plates aside, right? It's 235 down here and it's 235 up there, right? And I'm having to drive 235 from down here where I'm at my weakest spot, right, to where I'm at my strongest. And all my tendons and all my ligaments and all my little accessory muscles are having to do the work to push that, right? It is a very hard push coming out. Your joints, everything is under pressure. With the banded system, it's progressive. So take an elastic band, man, it's here and then it's here. It's progressively getting tighter. Just think about that mind to muscle. We're progressively building it to the same 235, but we're not hurting ourselves down here. We're just getting there cleanly. So it's 100% more advantageous. It is injury prevention. It is proper muscle development, and that is information and data coming straight from our doctors. That is a no bullshit comment. Put those together, and you have a very, very healthy way of training and developing your muscles, period. There's no need for plates on plates on plates.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there's a space for that in the industry. We are not trying to flip things on their head, we are trying to add value to, right? So that's why we're so advocate about the bands, you know what I mean? Like, just let people know, understand it. We all go to social media and we see it. But we keep going to social media and looking at our phone while we're in the gym and trying to do what they're doing there. Let's just make it easy. Take this, plug it in, band train. That's it, right?
And I guess, question for Cody, why do you think band training hasn't been explored further, right? Because you're in the industry where people are moving plates, you'd say, or strength equipment. Why hasn't this product been thought of or brought to market yet? Because bodybuilding, working out, strength sports have been around for hundreds of years.
Of course,
right?
Complacency is king in the industry. It's across the board. So from a training method, in quotations, it's just easy to not. You don't have to. You're just gonna go and tie it off to the dumbbells. You're gonna go and figure out a way to do it. Yeah, it's a level of laziness to a certain extent of just this tried, tested, and true. You'll see equipment in the showroom right now where the design, other than what we've made changes to either adapt it for bands or make it more user-friendly. These are pieces that have been around that nothing has changed. The articulation points, nothing for like 25, 30 years, right?
That's right, yeah.
It's just easy. And there's a level of like, it's archaic. The industry is a little bit archaic in terms of innovation and making changes for the better. That was always a big thing for me. It's just like, this is a timeless movement, let's make it better. Let's make it more user-friendly for the shorter person, the taller person, whatever the case is. So I think that's why. I think that I also don't think that there's ever been a product like this available to be able to take it to market, available for everybody from a good price point. It's just never been there. He fucking came up with a really, really crazy product, man.
And intimidation.
I don't think, it's just as easy to go and buy a handle from Home Depot, screw it to the wall, tie it off, and do it. Is it as easy? No, it's not. Are you gonna use it? Probably a lot less than if you could just plug and play and do your work and rehabilitate or train under that banded tension. Yeah, I just don't think, that anybody has really thought about it, to be honest.
Exactly right.
I just don't think that it's something that was on anybody's radar, because it's just like, tie them off to dumbbells. Who wants to do that?
Yeah.
No one's you're not gonna you may do that once in a while, but are you gonna train adamantly and committed to band training if you're having to juggle all this shit around and make it happen? You're not. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think it's just,
And maybe
change in this industry is bad. Mm-hmm. That's how it's viewed from an equipment standpoint, because that's what I specialize in is the equipment side of it. Change is bad. They don't want it to change. The industry itself, the big names at the top, don't want to see change because they've just been able to cash checks, monopolize the industry with the top names. They all set price precedent that's way too high.
Way too high.
And you got how it's structured across the board is, like I said before, the top products coming from the manufacturer, they get distributed to a bunch of baby birds along the way, all needing their piece of the pie, and then that product ends up being marked up 500% when it's all said and done, and there's no control. There's no control over the actual product itself. That's what the end user, that's the only thing the end user cares about, is the product that they're buying. They give a shit about all of that stuff in the middle. Provide me with a quality product at an affordable price. It's for my health and wellness. Yep. Everybody deserves to have that. Make everybody should take note. Yep. That should be at the top of anyone that's in this industry's mindset, is that this should really be available for everybody.
Yeah,
for sure. It's supposed to be a good thing,
Health
right?
and wellness should be available. There shouldn't be a price cap, or there shouldn't be a wealth gap when it comes to health and wellness and fitness.
100%.
It shouldn't.
Fact, right?
It shouldn't.
Right?
That should not be a thing. You're taking advantage of something that everybody deserves to have and needs.
Yeah.
We'd be a lot better off if it could become more affordable, more accessible.
And that's what we're doing.
And that's what we're doing.
That is
our end goal. That at least and that'll stick with me forever. If I have to change that part of me from a moral standpoint, then I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, hoorah.
I would rather have it I would rather get everybody to be able to have what they want, whether that be that dream piece, be able to rehabilitate at home, get back to work sooner, do all of those things. That all matters to me.
There you go.
Every bit of it.
So that's huge. He's talking about, it being available to the general public at a price point that should be available to everybody, because it is a health and fitness product, right? It is a health product. From the equipment, and then take the innovation side of things that we've engineered to be such a cost-effective, system and products, take his mindset of equipment pricing and then bring in innovation that is in line with pricing for the general public, and we're covering it all, right? In a price point that's available for everybody. You know what I mean? Like you take a bench press and a rack, you're paying per pound for plates, you're paying how much for that steel, you're paying for the bars, you're paying for the collars, you're paying for all of these accessories that add up, right? And now you're taking up this much space in your home, right? And sometimes that home gym needs that space, which is, it's why we
Most
do
of the
equipment.
time. Most of the
100%.
time.
Well, and
Not everyone has a big house.
and let's
and
keep
garage.
that
I
as
was just gonna
affordable.
say
Let's
that,
keep
yeah.
that as affordable as we can.
Yep.
In the meantime, to be able to make sure that everybody can have it accessible.
Yep.
My conspiracy theorist side of me says, keep all of this shit as expensive as possible, because from a mental health standpoint, well, the mental health crisis, a large percentage of it, if they were able to actually be able to go and do health and wellness in their own home at the gym that doesn't cost $150 a month to train at, because the gym had to blow $100,000 on equipment that year. Keep it affordable across the board. All of a sudden, the mental health crisis is a percentage of it is looked after, because there's a whole different demographic training. Strength training specifically we're at an inflection point regardless in the industry. Cardio is dying. It's just the way it is. Strength is taking over. Strength and conditioning is a thing. Bowflex didn't go bankrupt a couple weeks ago for pennies on the dollar for a reason. They're gone for a reason, because 60% of their sales rely on cardio-based equipment, and those numbers are down tenfold. It is about strength. I love that it's way more prevalent in the mental health space. And that needs to be available for everybody. It needs to be available.
And that's huge to talk about the mental health side, because you asked me a question about the goals, right? And we said we're trying to close this gap. And the big part of that is making this type of equipment accessible to the injured bodies and the people who have had to take time off work because of an injury. We have an approach towards WCB. We'd love to be able to have this product covered under WCB to help people get back to work quicker, right?
I love that.
To make that accountability from your therapist to your home using this product that is going to rehabilitate you and get you back to work quicker, which is what WCB's goal is. But not only that, that product will continue with you through your life to do more development and strength conditioning, right? So that we are looking at injury prevention, right? Look at that system as to what we're trying to obtain in that space alone. Healthcare, Alberta Healthcare, same thing. Let's make something happen there where we can help people, that they don't have to all be funneled into WCB. Let's be proactive on our bodies. That's really, for me passionately, is where I really want to see us go, is to help that part of the industry. You know what I mean? Like make it accessible, like Cody's saying, and have our government step in and help our society. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
McDonald's is around the corner.
It's crazy
You can
to talk
afford
about
that.
the accessibility, because I didn't even honestly take it in. I think that like you were saying, like to have a Bowflex, for example, and you have to have a space to be able to even hold that Bowflex, not even talking about the price of that Bowflex. So it's like someone that doesn't even own a house or has that type of space can't even afford, or can't even, doesn't have the access to be able to do that. So they're forced to go somewhere and spend the money at a gym that they may or may not be able to afford in that sense. So like the accessibility thing is such a huge game changer.
And that's where our Power Tower comes into play. And that's one of the products we're about to release. That's kind of one we've been keeping under wraps for a little bit, but that's the one that really hits all demographics everywhere. I mean, from your 4th floor condo to your massive strength conditioning gym to your therapist's office to, the hotel room that you're staying in. And it's just that easy. And it should be, right? It should be. It should be that easy. It should be that easy for you to be able to rehabilitate and strength condition. It should be that easy. You know what I mean?
I got a question both of you guys can answer, but I'm gonna ask you, Cody. Do you think there's a misconception in resistance training?
It's a great question.
I think that it's underutilized from a true like strength. I think it's used as it's like a byproduct of what you do in the gym. It's not used as the actual like system.
Yeah.
I think it like has its little niche portion. Specifically, like I have to base it off of from a powerlifting standpoint. Like you train under banded tension. It's just part of your training block.
Yeah.
It's just what you do. To be stronger. So I definitely think it's underutilized, and there is a misconception that you can't like fill in the blank. Guy that you see on stage in a bodybuilding show could come in here, never touch a static weight again, and look the exact same way.
If not
training
better.
under bands, if not bigger,
Better.
elongated muscles.
Yeah.
It is a game changer. It's underutilized in terms of that. It's
Yeah.
underutilized. That old school clank and steel, which, believe me, I love doing it too. There's still a part of me that will always love that. Do I think that it's the right way to train for longevity? No, I don't. And I think that it's completely underutilized. And I think that we're going to be walking guys through here, guys and girls, through this facility specifically, and seeing like,
Some
this is the
humbling
real deal.
experiences.
And it is humbling. I puked the first time I trained with Jay.
Yeah.
And we didn't touch weights. It was all bands. And I literally threw
I
up.
was telling my buddy just today, we put the band, I don't remember what level of the band it was,
Yeah.
but we put the band on and he put a 5 pound on each end.
Yeah.
And
You're
bro,
like, I've never fucking done this. I've never had this little amount of weight on
I feel
anything
like-
I've ever done.
like honestly it doesn't matter, but like, you know, some people do care. And like my first thought was like, you know, people are looking at me, like, yeah, I have a band on there, but like people are looking at me and I'm putting 5 pounds on there. And they're like, yo, what is this guy
Yeah.
doing in the gym?
Feel free to hop on there
Yeah,
and give it a
first time we
shot.
trained, I'm like, grab the 5s. He's like, what? Grab what?
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't even know we had 5s in the gym. He's like, 45s? I'm like, just grab the 5s.
I'm
you know?
gasping for air. I'm like, where's the change room?
But in terms of the misconception, it's huge. You know, and a year ago, it was in my mind to bring exposure to the industry of bands, right? So I would just take my bands into gyms all around the city, just to have people see what I'm doing, whether they liked it, understood it or not. It's still band exposure, and it's something different, right? Complacency, like Cody said, is our largest downfall in the industry. A misconception, yes, you see, you know, now the gyms I go to, when I first started there's 2-3 bands. Now there's 300 on the wall, you know, and people are still trying to understand how to use them, which is why, you know, with marketing, we're bringing that education out to them. But here's the misconception. You walk into the gym and people are doing this with a band they found on the floor, right? Why are they doing this? Because they've seen other people do it and they think it's warming up their shoulders.
That's the only thing we know.
That's the only thing that people are doing with a
fucking did
band.
that
That's
yesterday
facts.
at
You
the
did it
gym.
yesterday. That's,
Yeah, that's all he did. That was
So
his
what the
warm
fuck am I
up.
doing then? What am I
right?
doing?
You are warming up your shoulders, but that's where it is so much more if you have a platform and education that says, yo, take that to the next level. Go to this place at Recon and they will educate you on how to do that, right? Right now, people go to social media to do it. Well, it's scattered on social media. This is a uniformed system with a library of movements for time under tension, right? So they're doing this, right? Or they're tying it to a rack and they're doing this or whatever it is. In their minds, it's a warm-up tool. In my brain and here at Recon, it is a training tool, right? But you need the right system and you need the right products and the right understanding to use that, right? So I can walk into a gym and I'll be on a bench press and I collar up with our collars, which again is another part of the system that you guys will get introduced to soon. I collar up with a level 4 band and I put a 10-pound plate on and that's it. And that's what I bench. And I'll bench 12 to 15 sets of that for 3 to 5 reps.
You
It's
wanna
about
tell
volume.
the people the equivalent of that if they were doing it without weight or without bands?
So that'll be my warm up, yes. I also want people to look and be like, what the hell's going on over there, right? Because again, we want to bring exposure to the bands. But I'll do that and I'm grunting. Like it's not, Ilya went through this, right? Like, so did you when we were in Montreal.
It's not easy. Yeah.
It's not easy, right? So people are looking at me and I'm not a little guy and I'm pushing one 10-pound plate per side on a barbell with bands. Like that's catching your eye, right? I'll do that, I'll load up another 10, and at the most I'll go as 25 per side with a level 4 band, and I'll volume that out. I'll just rep and volume that out, right? What's happening is my muscle, the fibers are opening and closing consistently. That band is pulling, retracting, pulling, retracting, pulling, retracting on my actual fiber, right? When we open it up, what happens? It's an influx of oxygen and blood. That's what causes a pump, right? Everybody walks out of the gym, they're all pumped up, right? Well, you get that within your first 4 reps, training under bands because of the mechanics of the body, right? So I could be in a gym with a 25 a side and a band underneath, and there could be a bodybuilder next to me with 3 plates a side, pressing for 3 reps, and his third one is a struggle, and I could see his joints kicking in, his ligaments and his little tendons are kicking in, trying to push it through.
I'll use a band.
The number one thing that happens is I will go up to that person and I will say, yo, would you like to try something like banded here? It's more effective than what you're doing. Give it a shot. Try something new, right? Like complacency. Get out of your box. Try something new. Shake your body up. And the answer I normally get is, oh, my shoulder, like I got a pinched shoulder here in the front delt. He's like, I try not to, I'm tired. I won't do it.
That's everybody.
That's everybody's answer to me.
Which is hilarious. It's very ironic because you're there benching 315.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that's the thing.
Yeah.
Actually, that's actually helping your shoulder.
100%.
That's actually helping as you build, you're actually rehabilitating at
Correct.
the same time.
Well, it's also
Instead of trying
funny. Yeah, it's also funny because he was saying that people are warming up shoulders because that's the only thing that they know, but then they don't continue to do it.
Yeah.
So if something hurts and they're warming up,
Yeah.
they're using a band.
Yeah.
But then they drop it,
Yeah.
and then they go
And then go
continue
and-
doing something that hurts them.
Yeah.
That will,
Yeah.
exactly. It's
Like, why not just do that, but with more intensity and proper,
Yeah.
right?
And I think that's the one thing that I actually noticed, because like I kind of avoided doing bench after a while because it started hurting my joints. So like now that I'm back in the gym more religiously, I don't do as much weight as I used to. Versus when I trained with you, I didn't feel that pain in the joints that I always felt. Versus if I were just to do it with the plate. So that is the main thing that I noticed with it.
That's the proof in the pudding, right? So the odd guy next to me will say, okay, I'll try something new, you know what I mean? And this is where the intensity and the value and the passion of band training will come out. Because the minute you unrack that bar, let's remember, there's only a 25-pound plate per side, okay? I have not gone back to the weight stack 9 times to bring plates onto my bar. I've done that, not at all. I put a 25 and then the proper level of tension that my body requires.
And then you say to yourself, I want more tension. I'm gonna add another level of band.
That's it.
You get to, yeah, it's great.
That's it. I just add my next level of tension, right? If I want to put static on there, because there can be a happy balance between static weight and tension.
Well, it's the
right?
number chasers that you end up having to like convince, right? It's
That are
like,
writing it in their notebook.
yeah, well, what are my
Yeah.
numbers? What are my
Yeah.
numbers? And it's just like, in the long run, it doesn't, and as you get older, who
Yeah.
gives a shit?
Well, people
Exactly.
need to also understand that bodybuilding is just one sport, right? There's
Yeah.
like so much more to it.
So much more
like
to it.
performance training. But I
Like
also
when we were in Montreal with calisthenics.
Yeah.
Man, that humbled me so much, what he did to me.
Yeah.
And watching him, I was like, oh, I thought I was on a level. This guy's on a different level.
yeah, absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
and there was nothing in his gym
And
but
get-
bands
Exactly. They
and
train
bars.
with bands, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the odd guy that does come over to my bench and says, yeah, let's go, humbled immediately. And it's not my goal, but my goal is to try and help people understand it, right? He'll unrack it, and instantly, because of the tension, the whole body wants to go everywhere because it does not understand the tension that's on it, right? He understands the static weight, boom, drops it on his chest, and then tries to push it through. As soon as you engage that, you're completely unracked. And the guy will get 2 reps in because he does not understand balance. His body does not understand symmetry on push, so he's all over the place. And that is intimidating for a 300-pound bodybuilder, 3 plates aside, that just stepped into a bench with a rubber band and 25 pounds plate. It's humbling, and I think it's intimidating to them, and this is what we're trying to change. When we chase the healthy factor of what we're doing, and we expose the healthy side of it, we're hoping that society and the industry will catch on and say, yo, that is a healthier way, and I'm still getting to my same goal, right?
And I think the funny thing is, I feel like the professionals, the true professionals, really do love bands, really do.
They do.
They use bands, you know, doctors. I guess they'd be out of jobs if, you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. It's almost like they're gatekeeping all this for their own profession. Because I know professional athletes, they all use bands.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, doctors' rehabilitation is always bands.
Yeah.
But for some reason, that education just doesn't leak out to the masses.
Yeah.
Maybe just because the social media now is just showing how cool it is to lift 800 pounds and break your back, and you know, it's going in a place in a very unhealthy way.
Yeah.
But I think it's time to disrupt it a bit and show, because with so much information online, we need to now start educating people on how to train smarter.
Yeah.
Right? It's not how to lift heavier, because that's done. You know,
It's been done for
It's
how
been
many
done.
years?
Even social media is getting boring. Nobody wants to watch people lift heavy anymore.
Yeah.
The great part about it though is if you actually trained it under resistance, you'll get to, if you wanted to go lift heavier
Yeah.
after training like that
Yeah, do
for
6
6
weeks.
months, and it'll blow your
Your
you'll
strength
blow your
is-
PRs
Yeah.
out of the
I
water.
actually worked out at Stride Fitness, which
No, you
wa-
didn't.
which was
You didn't work out. No, you didn't.
We'll bleep that. We'll bleep that. out.
That's not true.
Yeah.
We're trying to be transparent here and be honest with
We can't have our marketing officer telling
like
bullshit.
you're not. You didn't work out, but that's okay.
It's a powerlifting gym, and when they are on their off days or on their off weeks, they literally tie weights around bands and they like carry around.
Yeah.
Strictly
weight.
band training.
It's because you need your stabilizers to support the
Exactly.
big muscles.
And they're actually doing it if you're on your off block,
Yeah.
in your training block, you strictly, because it's actually helping in recovery
Yeah.
throughout the whole
100%,
process
100%.
as well.
So I don't
And these
know.
are the elites you're
The
talking
elites,
about. Like you
yes.
said, like
Yeah.
go on social media and follow the NFL superheroes, follow the MLB guys. They are all using bands.
But it just doesn't look as cool, right? That's the
Doesn't
problem.
look like you're lifting.
But
freaking-
It doesn't make you look like a Superman.
But it can. You've seen our products.
Yeah.
How sexy and cool is our shit?
100%.
Like it's crazy. As soon as we drop this to the industry, like you got a Ferrari inside the gym now, right? And you're gonna want to drive that Ferrari. Period. No questions asked. So make it cool, but make it effective. Make it work.
100%.
And that's what we did.
Sorry.
Honestly, we did.
Honestly, what I love most about this, to be honest, is I love the product that you guys are creating. I love the system that you guys are creating. But not only that, you guys are actually educating people as well.
Yeah.
So it's more than just you guys trying to sell something.
Yeah.
You guys are trying to teach people how to train better, how to train smarter, and how to last longer in whatever their profession is or whatever their sport is. So yeah,
Longevity is
I
king.
commend y'all
When
on
it's
that.
all said and done,
Longevity is
longevity is king.
Yeah. And
Do it
op-
for as long as you can.
Yeah, and open that up a little more. As a business, you know, we should be promoting product and pumping product. That's how we generate revenue and that's how we make money, right? Pump product, pump product. And we do that very methodically. We don't get paid to educate. Like we're not generating revenue by sitting here talking about, you know, how to properly train under tension. We don't. That's the passion side of what we're doing, right? The revenue for us is just a residual. The main goal is innovation into this industry, because when was the last time you've seen something so innovative in this industry that it's like, whoa, everybody wants to jump on board? Not. What did they do? They just put a different color of bumper on the plate, and now it's got sparkles on it, and that's cool, right? So the innovation lacks huge. We have our YouTube channels, Time Under Tension, where we educate on how to train time under tension. It's me teaching different athletes on how to adapt bands, which is kind of how I started. Before we had the system within facilities, it was just bands. So I would have to tie a band or look at a machine, a piece of equipment in the gym and be like, yo, how can I get this on there, right? Which is what most people do, but they don't go the distance to actually do it.
And it's not that difficult.
It's not when you
Yeah.
look at it, right?
When you know how to do it, yeah.
But people are not, People are not lazy, but people don't want to take that little extra time, which is why we did the Quick Connect system. It is easy, right?
And also, there's not variants of bands, right? Everyone's lacking the variants
There's
of
some
bands.
magic right there.
Yeah.
Like in the industry right now, if you go purchase a band, you're gonna find at your retail a 12-inch band and a 42-inch band, okay? When we look at somebody who's 6 foot tall, they can use a 42-inch band. When we look at Ilya at 4'6", you know, he needs.
I need
it's not
that
his fault.
12-inch band. I need the 12-inch
It's
band.
not his fault. But the torso lengths are different, so how does it make sense that we're using the same band? You know what I mean? You want tension on your body the entire time, so a 42-inch ain't gonna work for him.
Yeah, and I'm stronger than Jay, so how does that
Yeah,
work?
we've seen
you
that
know?
in a video. Yeah, we'll replay what.
Yeah, play back the video.
Yeah, we'll play back some training in Montreal and see what happened there. But think about that. We've brought to the market the band lengths in between the 12 and the 42. So you see guys at the gym and they're like 8 feet away from the rack that they've tied to. You don't have to. Just grab our 21-inch band and connect it, and you're right here with that right amount
31-inch
of tension.
band, same thing.
Or the 31,
20, whatever, yeah.
All those lengths in between what's available, we've now brought to the market.
Yeah.
And when you actually think about that and take just 2 minutes to be like, oh, if I'm in the gym, I'm usually doing this, and I had a shorter band that I could be right here and a different tension, it just makes sense,
Yeah.
right?
Of
And like
course it
Cody
makes
said,
sense,
why
'cause-
did this not exist?
Of course it makes sense, because when you see people at the gym trying to change the resistance or change the length, what do? They try to wrap it around 3 times so that it fits to their needs, right?
Yeah. I had a pro athlete tell me one time, Jay, I have to train because I win by the millisecond, right? Like for me to make it over that line and get gold, I have to win by a millisecond sometimes. My training has to be that dialed in, right? You take a band and you wrap it around a rack and that band says it's a 65-pound band, that band is not 65 pounds. Let's not put 65.
You'll never know what that is.
You'll never know. We
There's
did
no way.
so much reconnaissance and so much research into understanding how these other band manufacturers are qualifying that band as a 65-pound band. We've had scales, we've stretched it to the limits, we've retracted it, we don't understand how they come up with a number that they market as 65 pounds. Because if I take one step back further, that band is not 65 pounds, right? So we don't teach numbers. Like we will never say our bands are 25 pounds, 45, 65, 85. When you buy our bands and you work with our system, it's based on levels of progression. So Recon level band level 1, Recon 2, Recon 3, Recon 4, all the way up to 10, 12, whatever it is you want. And that's how I teach, is I graduate our athletes from a level 1. Once they've hit a certain point, we go up to tension level number 2, number 3. Because there's no way I can say, yo, you can go up to 65 pounds of tension now. That's an impossibility.
I mean, you can maybe, but you don't know where it is.
You don't know where it is.
You
What
can't
point?
identify the
Exactly.
point, right?
Like we
So-
got inline scales that we put in the band line that when we pull, we can read how much tension is on there, right? But that's more in testing. For the general public, they're not gonna have that and they're not gonna know that. So again, let's make it easy. Level 1. Oh man, I need level 2 because I just spent 2 months on level 1. I'm ready to go. That type of thing.
I love that. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I guess what's in the future, what's next outside of products, where's this company headed, you know? And then we can I just close up because obviously we've been here for a minute or two.
Well, you're actually supposed to tell us. You're our chief marketing officer.
Well,
You schedule us, bro.
First of all, this is not the podcast for him today. This
I
is the
know,
podcast for you two.
I'm trying to be so
want your
unbiased.
answer.
I'm trying to ask all these like basic ass questions.
You started the podcast by
Okay, so
already admitting you
let's
can't give your
start with
answer.
like where are you guys identifying problems, rolling out products, right? Let's say you can talk about strength equipment. You can talk about releasing something new to the market.
And where the problems arise?
Yeah, where you see a big hole or a problem, because nothing is always going to go the way you wanted it to, right? So where would you see a problem taking this company further, and then maybe
You're gonna, from the equipment side of it, and then Jay can touch on more the innovation side. You're always going to have someone, when you have something good, someone's going to always want to duplicate what you do, right? It's the ultimate form of flattery is imitation. So you're going to have that happen. We happen to be the only ones with it truly unadulterated, vertically integrated, full control over the product. So there's a million fitness equipment companies out there. That's a fact.
Yeah.
COVID completely changed the industry in terms of readily available, for the most part, cheap product. It got flooded, except it wasn't cheap during COVID. It was price gouging during COVID.
Yep.
Some of those
That's
guys,
so sad.
some of those companies still exist. A lot of the fly-by-night, they brought in fitness equipment when they could make as much as they could on it, and then they disappeared, and now they bring in patio furniture again because the margins are good on it. You're always going to have competition in terms of fitness equipment. It's just the way it is. You need to do things differently. If I think that there was a problem, it would be that they're going to try to be like us. would be the only thing, except they're never going to get to have what we have in terms of that vertical integration with a product that we fully control, right?
And I guess moving into innovation too, right? That they can, it's almost, you have to step up at all times, because you're bringing new innovation, you're bringing new methods to
you're
the
on
coaching
your
system.
you're on your toes always. You cross your T's, you dot your I's, you let nothing slip. You have to maintain control over everything that you do. You have to not look at the shiny things, and you need to keep your peripherals open and know what you have and stand by it and bleed and die for it, really, when it comes down to it. Because if you veer off course, specifically with what we're doing, you'll get eaten alive.
I think
Because the industry is tough. There's no question about it. It's a dog-eat-dog world.
I didn't know how many fitness equipment companies actually exist until I started doing research and comparing.
Once you really dive into it, you're a dime a dozen, really.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing something
like
disruptive or you
there
have
is
something
so
innovative.
many, yeah.
Unless you control it the way that we control it, you're a dime a dozen. You're nothing.
Yeah.
There's a million. There's a million companies doing it. There's just a million companies doing it wrong as well.
Well, because some of them don't have the passion for it or the education into equipment.
They don't have a
right?
clue.
Yeah.
They could,
Yeah.
like
They're
I
just
said,
salesmen.
they could be selling patio
Or
setups.
let's be real, they're just businessmen that are trying to make money.
There you
It
go,
is.
right?
It's all based off of a margin.
Exactly.
They could give a shit about what they're actually doing or changing the industry for the better, advocating for it. It doesn't. It's not a thing. And walk into any other place and you'll feel like, why am I buying this from you? You have no clue what this means. They could sell used cars the next day.
Yep.
It's not a dig on you, but
It's in his past. I'll put a little more on that. As our business in a whole, yeah, there's 100. There's I don't even know. We have a spreadsheet built out, but how many are in Calgary alone? This facility right here, I mean, we only kind of launched some of this visuals of this new facility to the public a few days ago or a week ago maybe. And the feedback has been enormous, right? It's, oh my God, you guys have the best facility in Calgary. Look at how badass that is. We put a lot of passion into this. You know, I owned a construction company before, and success is in the details. Let's go there, okay? Success is in the fine details. Walk into competitor A and B, and they, again, like Cody's saying, they're car salesmen, right? The passion is not there. The facility is not dialed in. It's not clean. We, in a whole, are trying to develop a white-gloved experience for our partnerships and for our clients, right? Like, we want you to come in here. You got to take your shoes off because we're about to walk you through a Ferrari, right? Like, make it an experience. You're buying equipment. We've already shown you that our company is price transparent. Our equipment is quality. We know this. We're in facilities all across Canada already. And make it an experience and maintain that level. And that's where That's where this side of things with the competition in equipment is going to set us apart. Come into this facility, like feel the sexiness, feel the equipment, feel the energy that's in here, the passion from everybody that works in this location, and it is so far different from walking into fitness equipment A store, where there's someone at the front desk, lets you walk around, lets you pick up a band or a handle, and then asks a question. That's not it. Walk in the front door and you get one of our reps, white gloved, walking you through the equipment. Go sit down at our design center. Let us help you design your home gym. Let us help you design your club. That's what we do here. That is what sets us apart from the rest of the other fitness equipment companies, okay? Generally. Now bring innovation into the business. We're on a whole nother level now, right? Like we are so far advanced above everybody else now that we take the competition right out of the question. So I think that's from the equipment and a retail location side of things. That's where we thrive, and that's where we be better than the rest, and that's where we put competition away. From the innovation and the product side, where do we see some potential hurdles? We've been through them. Like it's, you know, it's 4 years in the making now, and 5 years in the making, and with Cody being with me for the last year and us hammering on it together, we've jumped, we've expedited this process just bringing two brains together, right? And we've been through a lot of hurdles. I've been through a ton pre-Cody, and Cody was in a ton of hurdles pre-Jay. So we've been through a lot of those problems. From the innovation side and a new product, the key to it is market validation, right? So in the early ages of engineering innovation and these products, right out of the gate, we had to make sure that the market and the community would accept it, right? Because otherwise, why are you going to keep putting money into patents? Why are you going to keep putting money into engineering? Why are you going to keep putting money into product if the market ain't even going to accept what you're doing? So we did market validation a long time ago. So we knew that the industry and the market wants what we have, right? We validated it with professional athletes. We validated it with clubs, with owners, gym owners. So I think we're past our hurdles of bringing this product to the market. I think we've put all things comparable to shame already in the back end, and now it's just to bring it to the surface. And the amount of feedback and passion we're getting from the community is it's enormous, to the point where, I mean, we have lists on lists on lists of people waiting for product. So the only hurdle I see is keeping up with demand coming up here in the next little bit, you know, and we have a great infrastructure, import, export, like I said, from Cody, and our distribution centers, and everything is right in line to just launch and let's go, you know what I mean? And then let's just keep the education and the innovation going. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to continue doing new products. I'm going to continue diving in.
I kind of just want to interject on that. What are the best practices to stay innovated?
I think
That's the smartest question Javon ever asked.
It is, and I'll nail it. I saw an interview with Mark Zuckerberg probably a few years back, and the same question was asked. And his answer was, that guy will go sit at a Starbucks and just watch people. He'll go sit at a public library and he'll just watch people. He'll go sit in a gym and just watch people. Watching people and seeing where you can better or bring ease to their life, make something easier, bring something better, recognizing that is what innovative minds thrive on. I could sit in a room with people, I could sit in a pub and be like, yo, that tap for that beer at the bar, just put a button on the side, innovate it and push it, and out comes the beer. That type of mentality, right? Like, look at your surroundings and identify problems, solve them, and make people's lives easier and bring value to people's lives. That to me is how you stay on top of innovation, right?
Awesome.
And I think that the world lacks in that right now, honestly.
For sure.
Yeah, so just to wrap things up, we like to do a little segment. It's called Guess the Guess. So it's just a previous question that the guest left for you guys. You guys could both kind of answer it, either collectively or separate, whatever. So what that question is, let me pull it up here. If you were to create a signature dish named after yourself, what ingredients would it include and why?
White rice for this guy.
I want to hear Cody's
This is
answer.
gonna be bland as shit.
Yeah.
Mine will be bland
Okay,
as
so
shit.
we'll skip yours for now.
And
Yeah, but
tortilla.
Cody's will be
tortilla.
exciting.
Yeah.
Cody's will be exciting because he has more of a opened appetite. Mine is more.
What would it be? What would it be? It'd be like the Polish Prince.
Okay.
What would we
okay.
have in it? It would have to. So what's it?
What
Ingredients?
ingredients and why did you choose those ingredients?
Okay, so
I'd like to say something first. He had that for dinner the other night.
Oh, you're gonna just steal.
He had it for dinner. He came in the office. He's like, "Bro, I just had the most amazing meal last night." So you'll go.
Well, yeah, my girlfriend ended up making. It's called bigos, so it's like it's a traditional Polish Ukrainian dish. So I'd have to like do sauerkraut would have to be in it. It's one of my staples. Plus, I like to keep the gut health up.
Shut the fuck
This guy's full of shit.
up. Me and this guy drink like 3 Monsters every day. Bro.
I know, and now we're
But then
doing
he has to
this
balance
shit.
it out, bro.
Yeah,
Come on.
true. He
Yeah,
go-
I
he
mean,
goes
the
home and
signature
eats
dish would
our-
have to have some caffeine in it for sure to just keep me elevated. Man, that's a pretty crazy question, actually.
So what is it called?
What's the
What
Polish?
would you call your dish?
Well,
Your specific dish.
my dish? It would be like the Polish Prince.
and
It has to be like, it has to be salty. It has to be, the ingredients could just like, it has to be a plethora of salt.
yeah.
Just like very, very salty. I'm not a sweet person. I don't like I'm not no chocolate, nothing like that. It's just salty.
We don't want to say M&M's
Salty.
in my house.
Do you want to answer?
Yeah, oh yeah, mine's easy. I don't know what I'd call it, but I'm a meat and potatoes guy, period. Like my father-in-law, my mother-in-law makes an unbelievable prime rib. So I would go to a prime rib with Yorkies, with some gravy and some mashed potatoes. That would be my go-to. And what I would call it, I don't even know. Like,
No, it has to be named after you, right?
Yeah,
Has
it's
been
just
named.
named after you. That wasn't
Jay.
necessarily the
Jay's
question.
platter. That's
Jay's
it.
platter.
Jay's platter.
Jay's bland
So
ass
either a
platter.
prime, either a prime rib with Yorkies, gravy, and potatoes,
Yeah.
or a steak, same way. Yeah, that's my go-to.
That's pretty
If
basic.
you didn't like that, well, better luck next time.
Hold on to the next one.